Okay, here's a silly quick project that actually I'm really happy with how it came out. It's this fun little cuff. And what it is a mushroom. It rained a lot last week and I picked up a bunch of mushrooms and I dried them. And then I pressed them flat. Look at how cool that looks. And then I glued it onto a piece of leather and bound the edge of it. This one I added a little bit of gold paint. I think I just like it better. No, it's hard to see what I'm holding up here, but I'm gonna show how I did it. So, that's got some dirt in there. This is just the mushroom that's dried, and I'm just gonna spritz it just a tiny bit to soften it up for a minute. And I'll hit both sides. Wipe off some of the dirt that didn't get wiped off. And then I'm gonna snip the stem a little shorter. And then I'm going to just put it down and just gently press it flat to make sure it goes the way I want it to. And that's the start of it. And then I'm gonna try to really push it flat with this metal plate. And then I'm gonna go iron it to dry it. And then I'm gonna roll it a little bit more flat. I'll be right back. So I just went and hit this with the iron with the wax paper over it. So now that I've got it really paper thin, I'm gonna give it a coat of just Mod Podge to give it that, well, to seal it, but it's gonna give it that little bit of shine and hold everything in place. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and just give it a quick coat of Mod Podge. And that's gonna just seal it in there, but also keep it flexible. I have no idea how these will dry. They could be long wearing, they could break after you wear them for a couple times. Doesn't matter. I had fun making it, and I'll get to wear it a couple times. What more do you want out of a piece of art, right? All right, so there's a nice light coat of the Mod Podge. A little bit wants to stick out. It's those little fins under the mushroom. I'm sure there's a name for them that's not fins. That's what I'm calling them. Okay, when that's more dry, just before it dries completely, I'll be able to push it down one more time. So while that one's drying, I'm gonna go back to this one that's already been dry after I go wash my paintbrush. Okay, so here's my piece of red leather, and I'm gonna put this on here like this. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna trace with an awl just barely under it so that I can sand the leather so that the glue will stick to it, because this surface is way too shiny. I think I need to get some better sandpaper, but that's the idea. So once I either score, that's a very dull awl, or scratch the surface, the glue will be able to grip in there and hold that mushroom in place. So I'm gonna go get better sandpaper because that piece is dead. I'm gonna sand it away, and then I'm gonna put spray adhesive on the back side of this and the top side of that and glue those together. So I've put the spray adhesive on both sides. I've stuck it together. When it's dry, I'll wipe off this extra glue, although I'm gonna put a coat of finish over the whole thing, so it won't even show once I'm done with that. I'm gonna trim the sides, and then we're gonna put a binding on both edges. So while I'm letting it dry, I've got it wrapped around my rolling pin here to get the shape started. So cool. So this is my cool antique sewing machine that has a leather sewing wheel, and I'm going to use this really thin leather to bind the edge. So I'm going to sew that on. I can honestly say I've never sewn mushrooms before. And I ran out of bobbin thread right at the end. So it's been stitched on like that. And then I'm gonna fold it over and make just a binding right on the edge. And then I'll stitch in the ditch and hold that down. So now the binding is folded over, and this is just stitching in the ditch. And my machine did not love the fact that I didn't make it dry, so the stitches on the back aren't perfect, but it's okay. So now I'm going to trim away the excess and do the same on the other side. So I've done both sides, and I'm just trimming away the excess leather on the edge. Starting to look like a cuff. So I'm going to pound on the edges to make that all look nice and flat. So here's the finished product. Pretty happy with that. I stuck a snap in it. And I have all these cool little mushrooms that didn't open. I think I'm gonna try to make some mushroom earrings. I think that could be fun. So just go ahead and subscribe to my channel because I do fun, funky art all the time.